Esta conferencia comenzará a grabarse.
Buen día, Vasco. How are you?
Buen día, Antonio. Cansado.
Yes. Are you well or?
No, I'm well. I'm well. Thank you.
Okay, just tired. I totally understand you. I hope you have time to. Guten Morgen, Nina. Buongiorno. Buongiorno, Marco. Bonjour, Jack.
Buongiorno. Buongiorno. I see also there is Jacques.
Yes, speaking, yeah.
Bonjour, Jack.
How can I share my presentation, Antonio? You can give me
Yes, I will give you the access to the screen as soon as we start, okay? With you. No problem at all. We will start very soon. Just some moments to allow people enter the conference. There is, for those of you that are new, the general recommendation is to use Slido for comments. Okay, there is one. You have here the link. Okay, to the Slido page. If not, if you don't want to use the link, the Slido code is ECA, okay, and there you will have the opportunity to put comments and suggestions and so on. Okay, that's the recommendation. There is also another rules that we will follow. We will try to be very precise in time consuming. Okay, so the times will be controlled, because the idea is to let everybody share. And for today, we will have 3 initial speakers. Okay, the first one will be Marco with 10 minutes, and Jax and Dolores you have 7 each one. Okay, I will use a clock. Sorry, because it I will show you just now. Okay. And I will let you know when you are close to the timing. Okay. So we will start just now. Today we are going to discuss about advanced textiles and what can they do and what must they do in the current crisis, and how can we use our capacities, European capacities on that side to cover the needs of the hospitals and the population and everyone. Thank you, Marco Manfroni, for your participation. It's critical. And now the floor is yours.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, do you want to present something? Do you want the screen?
No, thank you.
Okay.
I would like just to give a short introduction and then to leave the floor to Jacques, who have really concrete, substantial inputs for you, I really think. I work in the DG GROW, which is the Directorate General responsible for the management of internal market and industrial policies in the European Commission. Specifically, I come from the unit responsible for industrial policies related to textile, clothing, footwear, and leather. And I work also on innovation related to these sectors. Right now, I would like to say we are very much focused in fighting the current crisis of COVID-19. and we are in contact with the textile industry along two lines. To increase EU production capacity for the raw materials, for example, of face masks, which are, let's say, specific types of products, meaning non-woven melt-blown layers. And on the other side, I would say, to convert textile production lines towards the production of medical or protective equipment, such as medical masks, medical gowns, medical, let's say, uniforms. And we do that through different actions, I would say. One line is to cooperate with the industry, and in this case, the non-woven manufacturers. And I really thank the Association Edana and Jack for all the efforts that they put in this exercise. I really feel obliged to say so, because they've been very much involved, and their support is extremely critical. And in this case, in order to ensure the production of these kind of products, especially raw material for face mask, one action is, let's say, to increase production capacity of these raw materials. And in order to do so, we have identified with the industry two strengths: the redirection of non-woven sales to the EU market. Indeed, EU companies which are currently exporting Memblow partly or wholly outside the EU are willing to redirect sales to customers in the EU. And then to increase the EU production capacity of melt-blown for face masks. And I would say that first indications are really encouraging. On the other side, when it doesn't, let's say, these products are mainly characterized by non-woven's raw material. And in this case, Jacques will provide you with more in-depth details. On the other side, clearly, we are also working with the other parts of the industries, which are willing to reconvert their own textile production. In this case, I would say that there are several large enterprises who have invested quickly and have already started the production of medical and protective equipment, such as, for example, I think you read in the news, Armani and other also fashion companies. In this case, we are also focusing the exercise of mapping relevant companies willing to reconvert their production, or, for example, who have already started to produce this kind of products. And in order to do so, we are also in connection with the association Euratex, which created a tool, matchmaking tool, where supply and demand, let's say, the main purpose is for sharing information on supply and demand of raw material and of certification services by testing centers willing to certify these products, because indeed these products need to comply with essential requirements established under the different EU pieces of legislations. Just to give you an example concerning masks, medical masks need to comply with the essential requirements under the current directive on medical devices, while masks FFP2 or FFP3 with or without veils need to comply with the essential requirements established in the personal protective equipment regulation. And then clearly there are also European standards which provide technical solutions in order to ensure presumption of conformity. Having said that, just to conclude, I would like to say that giving the broader picture, what we did in order to allow the industry to convert, but this is just not for them. I'm talking about very, very big initiatives of the European Commission, which are relevant also for the production of these products. Let's say that we move towards two strengths. One is focused on making more flexible the regulatory framework. So, for example, Commission adopted a communication on the temporary framework for stated measures. And in this case, it set up more flexible stated rules for specific types of aid for member states. And there are already member states, such as Italy, for example, which adopted, let's say, measures on state aids in order to ensure the production of medical and protective equipment and products. On the other side, we also provided more information on market surveillance and conformity assessment of these products in order to comply with the legislation. So we allowed the possibility to manufacturers to give recommendation also to member states in case of conformity assessment to use WHO recommendations on the appropriate selection of personal protective equipment, for example, as a potential source of reference for these kind of technical solutions when, for example, they don't or they cannot use the European relevant standards. Last but not least, also we moved with initiatives and actions in order to ensure access to finance and financial support. And allow me to say there are several initiatives in this case, such as, for example, the Corona Response Investment Initiative and other initiative through which we released, let's say, a relevant amount of money through the usual channel in order to have access to finance. And in this case, I'm referring to the intermediaries which are in connection with the European Investment Bank and the European Central Bank. So this is more or less all the different initiatives that we have taken, which can be relevant for the production of medical and protective equipment. And but now I would like to leave the floor to Jacques, who has more in-depth details on nonwovens, which are technical textile and products which are extremely relevant now in order to fight the COVID-19 crisis. Thank you very much.
Antonio, you're muted.
Antonio, we don't hear you.
Sorry, Marcos. You are really welcome. Jacques, your turn.
Yes, do you see my screen?
Yeah, we are seeing it.
Okay, I will do it full screen. So good morning, thank you for the invitation, and I will go straight to the point. And yes, EDANA is the non-woven association. It's an international association serving the non-woven and related industry. So we are not only European, but also international. And since the beginning of March, we have been alerted and flagged by our members of this shortage throughout the supply chain regarding the different products for the COVID. So we have 270 plus members, and we are based in Brussels. And we are very unique in terms of structure and coverage because we cover the world supply chain of the non-wovens industry. So you see in the center, do you see my mouse also? Can you see my mouse?
Yes, we see it.
Okay.
Yes.
So we have the core of the association is the non-woven production, but we have members throughout the supply chain, including the raw material, the machinery, and the converter. So the company using the non-woven. I don't know how familiar you are with the non-woven industry, so you can ask me the question afterwards. But as you see, we have members throughout the supply chain, including the man-made fiber, the polymer, the biopolymer, so all the products used in the production of non-woven. Machineries are also a member of the association. And what we mean by converter is a company like P&G, for instance, for converting the non-woven in diaper. And for this specific case of the COVID, it's important that the role of EDANA is very crucial, because we have the opportunity to put in connection the different players directly, the different players of the supply chain. And early March, we had already a meeting between machinery producer, non-woven producers, and some converter involved in this medical application. And you see some of our non-woven producers are involved in masks, in gowns and drapes, and we have also converter in gowns and drapes. So far, we had no face mask producer member of the association, mainly because this production has been delocalized in China, and you know that around 80% of the production of face masks before the crisis was located in China. Some basic information about the way to produce a face mask. The main consumption of face mask is what we call the medical face mask. Here I don't talk about the FFP2, FFP3, which are a bit different in their production, but the main consumption of face mask is medical and surgical one, and these products use mainly polypropylene polymers with different grades for the different component, but the polymer is the polypropylene. There are traditionally we talk about a three layers product. So Marco was talking about the mel blond, but the mel blond is the middle layer, which is the filtration media, and it's covered by two layers made of spun bond, which is a different kind of non-woven. The production, I don't know if you have to go through the specificity of the production process, but basically the mel blond weight is around 30-35 GSM in average, and the two spun bond layer could be between 20 and 25 GSM. Of course, this product must respect some regulation and standard. And you see the composition of the traditional face mask, with the outer layer, which has to be hydrophobic, and the inner layer, which must be softer for the user. Of course, the efficiency of the filtration media depend on the raw material, and if the middle layer, the mel blond, is electrocharged or not. And as I said, here in this composition, we talk about three layers with 4 pleats, but the middle layer can be double, or so you can have an additional layers inside. So the 3 layers are calendared together, and usually they are ultrasonic bonded, so there is no binder, they are just glue. It's important to mention that this is 3 layers bonded together. It's not one single layer, because on the market you can see product called SMS, which is 3 layer but laminate directly online, and at the end it's only one single layer. But here, to reach the efficiency of the face mask, you need the 3 separate layers. And at the end, you convert your non-woven, and you had the elastic ear loops and the nose wire if necessary. As mentioned below, the FFP2 and FFP3 are similar, but the product, the raw material, and the layers of nonwoven can be different with different raw material as well. So since the beginning of this crisis, we have been monitoring the evolution of the market. We have been asked by the DG GROW and the Breton cabinet to map the available capacity of Melblon, and it was very interesting to see how our industry was very flexible and increase both the capacity of Melblon in few weeks and also the share of the Melblon dedicated to the face mask production. Before the crisis, in January, most of the Melblon were used in other applications like air filtration, sorbent products, so many applications available for Melblon. Now, by June, our European industry will have multiplied by 10 their sales of Melblon to face mask inside the EU. So it's more a relocation of the Melblon to a different portfolio than a relocation to export, because this product, it was not a lot exported before. And we know that through the connection and the statistics we collect from our members, because Melblon are not identified in the trade nomenclature on the official statistics, so it's not possible to identify the flows of Melblon within the non-woven trade statistics.
Sorry, Jacques, 1 minute left. 1 minute.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I expected 15 minutes, but again, certification is important, and you will see later that we map also the different laboratory available on the market, and we started a mapping of the producers of face mask. And Marco was mentioning the Riratec tools, and the matchmaking actually is done by EDANA, because once a company register on this Riratec tool, we contact them and we offer them, we put in contact suppliers of non-woven and producers of mask. And since the beginning of March, we made already over 50 connections between different companies in Europe, EU, and also outside EU. Yesterday, I was in connection with a company in Norway, starting from scratch, knowing nothing about face mask and looking for non-woven. Non-woven are also used in other applications than face mask. So it's on guns and drapes. Everything on the picture you see, it's made of non-woven, from the cap to the coveralls and the guns and drapes and the surgical operation drapes. Yes, on the website you can have an access to the different lab. And I would like to just mention the problem of closing the loop, because we are very aware of the potential problem of littering and the waste that that will occur after this crisis, because depending on the strategy of the different member states, we can see a massive amount of waste linked to this face mask. If you take a population of 10 million people, if we are asked to wear every day 2 or 3 masks, each of us, it will be a consumption of 20 to 30 million masks per day. And we estimate that 1 million masks, we need 2.8 tons of non-woven made of polypropylene to make 1 million masks. So 1 million masks mean 2.8 tons of polypropylene. We estimate that this polypropylene has not been modified, so it could be during the production process, so it could be recycled and re-injected in the production process of the non-woven, wood can be used again in the face mask. So we are wondering, we are looking for information from the different player on the market if a bottle-to-bottle model like we have in PET would be feasible for the face mask. You have a problem of the collection, deposit, and also to raise the people awareness. Of course, we are here to help in this supply chain, including the recyclability of the product. But we clearly think that it can't be done by the industry alone. We need some support from the member state or the EU to build this business model on the recyclability of the product. Again, you have all the information on our website. You can type edana.org and you will see that we have a homepage dedicated to the COVID and our COVID actions. I think that's it.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup, Jacques. Very interesting. We will continue during this session, so you will have opportunities to hear the needs and solutions and provide your own suggestion. Thank you very much. So now it's time for Dolores. Are you there, Dolores? Yeah,
Yes.
Eloy?
Yeah. Good
Welcome.
morning.
Do you want the screen?
Yes, please. I can share this. Oh, sorry. Okay.
It's yours.
Okay, let me, oh, 1 minute, right? Okay, my presentation is also focused on advanced textiles for Meditech. Jacques, merci beaucoup for your presentation. I think that you cover some of my slides, and if I have some errors, you can correct me. But I will try to pass these slides already covered by Jacques faster and focus.
We are not seeing your screen yet.
No?
Dolores.
Oh, sorry.
No. You need to share it.
Sorry.
Now, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. Go on.
And I will focus more in the innovation part, okay? But first of all, the first question is that I'm not sure that if all of you are familiar or not with the concept. The first question is, what is an advanced textile? So according to the Textile Institute, placed in Oxford, is a textile material and products manufactured primarily for their technical and performance properties, not for their aesthetic or decorative characteristics. And this can be addressed from different perspectives, by material, by process, by application, or by functionality. So then if we just want to focus in innovation process of these advanced textiles, we can have also two approaches. The material innovation itself, that it's more science-based and usually are academia, research centers, etc., who are focusing in this approach. But also process innovation, that it's the way to combine technologies or different textiles in order to give a response in emergency. And I think that now we are in this approach, in this COVID emergency, and this collaborative innovation network, such as this one, can accelerate, broaden, coordinate process innovation solutions and promote the knowledge transfer. Okay, but first of all, to try to find these innovation solutions, we need first to understand what are the solutions nowadays. And as Jacques explained very well, it's most of them are based on non-woven solutions. There are different types of masks. Some medical masks or surgical masks are not considered PPE, but then the respirator masks are PPE, and it's true that the protection given it's different. and also the characteristics. What I want to highlight in this slide is that the non-woven usually exhibit anisotropic fluid transmission. Means that the transmission of the fluid it's not the same everywhere. Can have anisotropic properties, this is called. And this depends on the orientation of the fibers, the density of the fibers, the diameter of the fibers, the porosity. So it's quite complicated. It seems that it's only 3 layers, but in fact, behind there are more science. This is the same slide that Jacques showed, just to show that there are 2 main technologies to fabricate this non-woven solution, the spoon bond and melt bond. And as he said, it's more one direct spinning of polymeric materials, usually polypropylene. And the melt bond, it's the extrusion, but with a polymer melt. And the typical and standard solution is the 3-layer, as Jacques perfectly also explained. What also I would like to highlight in this slide is that the different characteristics of the non-woven solution depending on using one or the other technology. And according to these main characteristics, if we want to find innovations or different solutions, we need to consider that, for example, in non-woven, the mean fiber should be below 50 microns. The nozzle density is around 10 to 50 whole per centimeter, and the fiber strength is important, should be medium, because as I just showed you in the previous slide, you can see that with the melt bond technology, you get really a compact solution, but the fiber strength is really low. So it's complemented with the other technology. So here, if we want to find an alternative solution, we need to think that also we need to find a fiber strength that is medium. I mean, flexible enough to adapt to the phase, but rigid enough to maintain the structure of the solution of the textile. So, and in this sense, there are already some solutions appear in I can talk about Spain. It's and one from France. And for example, for surgical masks, there is already one solution made from natural fibers, 100% ecological cotton, and also already certified as a surgical mask at level IIR. However, for the respirators mask, that can be from the mask itself or for the filter, it depends. Natural fibers alone doesn't work because they are too flexible. So here it's the field to explore new synthetic fibers. Okay, new synthetic fibers like can be also a synthetic polypropylene or multilaminar structures combining synthetic and natural fibers to achieve this medium strength that I call. Okay, or develop plastic structures and then put the filters. In this sense, there is a solution developed for OCOV, Auvergne, who have developed a mask, and Michelin is involved in the production of this solution. And if I'm not wrong, according to the news, they will provide 5 million units up to June. From this also process innovations, some ideas I have in my mind and I want to share with you to get the filters or the mask is that there are already some industrial filters that block very, very, very well, but the problem is the breathability, that you cannot breathe. Some solution that we are exploring is how with this textile alternative we can do nano holes by laser, for example, or how we can combine, for example, non-woven hygienic solutions that are not enough for medical masks, but if we aggregate or accumulate with more multilaminar structures, maybe we can also obtain solutions for the population. And in this sense, I have the information that one important company, Global Berry, from both, it's a multinational. I think that there is the industrial fund in France, but also here in Spain. Yeah.
Member of Idana.
Yeah, they are the plant from here in Spain. They have developed an internal solution combining different non-woven hygienic textiles that can be used for most of the population. And they have the homologation from France, and I hope they will have soon the homologation from here, from Spain, to give solution of this all population. And just to conclude my presentation, I just want to mention more material innovation, but this is more long-term maybe perspective. But I just want to mention some opportunities that can offer these advanced materials. For example, smart device, smart dye, sorry, that you embed organic or inorganic molecules in the earth, and is based in the chromite phenomenon. This means that it's a reversible color change depending on a stimulus obtained from the environment. For example, can be temperature, and this is called thermochromic. And we can imagine that a textile that can change with temperature, for example, if you have fever or not, and can be an indication or a sensor to indicate if you have maybe the virus. Also, there is nanofibers that open a big field to really tune and develop new solutions. Smart textiles for infection control management by introducing bioactive yarns. This can be done by nanocoatings or laminates or by surface modification. Drag release textiles, the most common known is the transdermal patches, but this can be another field to explore, to make drag encapsulation in the textiles and then study the kinetics needed to release this drag and give alternative solutions for some disease. Electronically active textiles that responds to changes on resistivity, piezoresistivity, or capacity effects. And there are already some knitted sensors developing in this sense. And finally, for example, mimicry of biomedical structures in order just a solution just to replicate, for example, the human skin. This is more material, it's more long term, but I want also to introduce you just to see how big is this field and how can be explored to give solutions to this emergency or maybe new future ones. And finally, just to conclude, I just want to mention that we need to keep in mind also all the stakeholders involved in these solutions. It's a big ecosystem. We need to understand how they are connected to each other and how we can give a best or faster solution, including all these stakeholders. And from my side, it's all. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, Dolores. Thank you. You are really welcome. It's very interesting. I have not been serious enough in terms of controlling the time, but I think that it was important to hear every one of you with great contributions. So it's time for the next block. The next block is about, I will share my screen, needs, and we will speak later about solutions, possible solutions. So the floor is yours for everyone, but we will control the maximum time. We are late, so you will have the opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. Who is the first? About needs. If nobody speaks, I will start. Okay, I know for sure that there are a lot of needs in our hospital in Spain of masks, and I have received, for example, this morning a request from a region stating me that they have only 200 masks, and they need urgently thousands of them, and they are not receiving the orders that they placed some weeks ago. So that's a clear need.
Antonio.
Yeah, go on.
I will break the ice as well. I think we need a lot of clarity regarding the use of masks for everybody. There are 3 levels, like the French have said. They have explained but this shouldn't be up to every member state. There should be a clear instruction. This is for medical purpose, this is for general people who are attention to the public, and this is for the general population. What is the use or the recommended use of the mask? How to not be carefree when you're using the mask, know what it does and what it doesn't. And we need our supermarkets and our shops full of masks ready to buy at an affordable price. Everybody should be very knowledgeable. Everybody should know the basics that you can write on one piece of paper, but everybody should know this and learn. So we need communication, we need clear definition, we need clear instructions to the industry, and we need mass production, because there's hundreds of millions of people and many masks are going to have to be used. So we need probably billions of masks in the upcoming months. We're not talking about just a few masks, and we need an overwhelming manufacturing movement. We need clarity, we need information, we need communication, and we need people to understand what are the risks and how to use them.
Thank you, Danny.
I completely sign under what Daniel said. I just add one need. There is a lot of confusion also between masks to protect others from the person who is contaminated and masks to protect people from the contamination. I mean, inflow and outflow.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I would add to the previous ones that we should also be very clearly what to do after using the mask, because there are some evidences that, for instance, water can be contaminated and so on. So we should, if the mask is used by a professional or medical one, in that case, there is a process to destroy it. But for normal people, it's different. And we have to know what to do exactly.
Perfect. Thank you, Vasco. Another one.
Maybe related to that I completely agree. The governments or the administrations can organize a collecting point of the mask, maybe to facilitate then the recycling process, or just the good treatment if it's necessary, or I don't know if it will be possible or how to do it that, but it should be nice.
You have just jumped to the solutions, Dolores, but that's
Sorry.
right. Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, needs. Now it's time for needs.
I think what we also have as a need is to follow up on the recycling possibilities that I've already presented here, but I don't remember exactly by whom, since so many people have spoken a couple of days ago in this meeting, so that we don't only look at the mass production that is definitely needed right now, but also in the recycling possibilities people have at home.
Thank you, Nina. More.
Hello. Yes, Bras Costa from CITEB in Portugal. We are now studying the adequate characteristics of a social mask. A social mask seen as a mask to protect the community. And we believe that protecting the community, we are protecting ourselves as well. So, but the point is, we don't know really the mechanism of the transmission of the virus now. So the point is, we have, for instance, surgical masks filters 98% or 95% of the particles. but the particles used for this test are bacterial, between 1 and 5 micron each one. The virus has 200 nanometers. So we need to know more about the mechanism, the physical mechanism of the flow, to understand better what is possible to do with textile solutions for that. And I think that we must involve more the medical community, taking all the information they know just now, till now, about this mechanism.
Very, very clear and relevant. Thank you, Antonio. Another one. If not, we will jump to the solutions. Okay, solutions.
Just a very just a very short comment on needs. Recyclability also imposes that we rethink the logistics, the required infrastructures, and of course, the industrial equipment that will be required for this specific recyclability. And in my understanding, this will impose that we have a holistic approach, meaning gathering local, regional, national, and eventually European level infrastructure logistics flows.
Yeah, it's critical for the rebound possible effect. Just to know what to do with so many possible contaminated mass. Totally agree. David, you were going to speak, if I am right.
Yes, well, hello everybody. This is David Tallo from Texfor, which is like the industrial Spanish association. We represent the industrials. And about needs, we are trying to, well, we are creating a mapping company. Say to Daniel Gonzalez that there is from yesterday. Well, I don't know if you know, but as a potential solution, I will speak later. But some new social mask we're creating some decree. But about the needs, one thing that we are thinking that we need is like a marketplace or something like that. You know, actually we have some industries that they are changing completely the way of manufacture, and they are starting to create sanitary solutions and like preventive solutions and so on. But the problem now is like the bottleneck is like that nobody knows, and the people is buying without like hospitals in one part, regionalist persons in charge of buy things for hospitals in other part, central government in other part. So it's like a big mass. Everybody's trying to fix something. And we need will be really helpful, a marketplace with all the companies that can be doing something in order to fight against coronavirus. And I think that this is, from my point of view, is like the main thing that we have over. I am completely agree with Antonio from CITEBE about that we need to research more about the physical mechanism to keep like this virus away, because everybody's like going with the antibactericide and bacterials, blah blah blah. But a bacteria and a virus has a completely different nature. So I think that there is another gap. And later it's like a crazy. Everybody's working really hard from laboratories, from industrial associations, from each company, and it is becoming really hard for all the companies because, well, as you know, the economical situation is too crazy too. So thank you very much. It was like my need is like marketplace and more research about the virus keep away and materials and that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Yes, okay. Ana Ribeiro from CITEV as well. Can I just add something to David? Thanks, David, for your intervention. And yes, I do believe that the marketplace is a big need that we all have, but also we should join to this marketplace the needs from the health system as well, in order to align the production and the companies with those needs. And we had faced some difficulties at the very beginning in order to have this match between the needs from the health system and to align the companies to provide them all the equipment that they need to fight this pandemic.
It's under testing, final testing now, the marketplace.
Your marketplace, you mean, Aurora, to solution?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the one we spoke on some like a week ago or a week and some days ago. It's under final tests.
Okay, this
Oh,
is a
okay. I'm
proposal from
sorry.
Portugal. Okay, no, it's a proposal from Portugal, from Aurora, and she will share it with us as soon as possible, I suppose. There is another possible, we are jumping to solutions, okay? There is another possibility that we have, no, the European Commission have created, is the for public authorities and association clusters and so on. So it's the COVID-19 response forum, and there you have the two areas, a lot of areas, but one is I need help, and the other is I can help. At this, it's intended to help create the links between those that need helps and those that can or are able to help. Okay, but I jump into solutions. I will remember you the first need that I tell, because it's the most critical one. There are regions, I know for a fact one from this morning, that have only 200 marks, critical marks, for everyone in the region. How can we solve it?
I think the reusable masks are the solution. At this moment, we have two problems at the same time. We don't have raw material to produce face masks, and at the same time, the destination of the used masks or other kind of PPEs is incineration. So for us, it's very important to remember that sustainability and circular economy was not closed with the emergence of COVID-19. In my point of view, the solution is to have reusable masks, and it is possible with more conventional textile materials to reach good grade in surgical masks. But the national authorities among Europe are very, very slow people. They don't risk. They don't accept new approaches. They are not available to try different ways to solve this problem. And maybe at European level, we can move something in order to rethink how Europe organize its, how to say, strategic reserve of materials and solutions for face pandemic case like this one.
Yes, we heard one expert here some days ago speaking, telling us that they were testing the possibility to reuse masks, and they were making some studies, and the initial results were good, but we need to, as you said, we need to have serious studies and the approval from some public authorities on that. Okay. Who else?
I have two solutions, sorry. Related to just Antonio mentioned, I completely agree, and probably will be nice to make a collaboration with the French organization, as you mentioned, Antonio, that present the results of washable, or how to sterilize the mask. And could be nice to combine this, because they are doing with the standard material, combine this with the new materials alternative, like synthetic textiles that apparently are washable, are more, they give the possibility to be recycled or reuse it more. This is the first common solution. The other one also is related to the need mentioned for Antonio Bras, related to, it's not clear what is the mechanism of transmission of the virus. In this sense, I think that it's necessary to involve as soon as possible the people from simulations, thermofluid, computational fluid dynamics, and thermofluid simulations, in order to make approximations already by simulations that it's easy and fast to do how this virus is propagating through the air and through the mask. And finally, the last one is related to the marketplace that David Talo mentioned, and also Ana Ribeiro. In this sense, in our region, in Catalonia, we have already a marketplace in order to get these connections, but it's not enough. As Ana Ribeiro said, it's not enough to have a marketplace. It's necessary that then there is people behind just really facilitate the connection, because if not, the company just put they need, or just put what can they offer, and that's all. And we need to complement that with support in order to facilitate the networking. And that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, that's our experience. We started linking companies on the 16th of March here from the clusters Spanish Federation, and we at the beginning it was a continuous flow of questions and requests for helps, and for sure we needed totally. You need to put people linking that.
Antonio, 200 masks for an entire region is like 1 minute of use, so it's like zero. So I think we need to be solidary, to have a quick exchange from place to place when someone has a little spare. It's never too spare because everyone is afraid, but to have some solidary way of communicating that. And also in Portugal, we say that when we don't have a dog, you chase with a cat. So having zero may mean to have other means of protection, like scarves or making masks at home. I've seen several ways and medical people teaching how to do at home some masks with the normal textiles and put some cotton inside. So maybe also to make some requests to voluntary people to produce those cats instead of dogs. They don't know how to do dogs, so let's put everyone making cats.
Sorry, I'm not agree with you.
Yeah.
We are talking about health or death, and to use everything. For instance, people without knowledge about these mechanisms think that a plastic or a paper protects because it's not has no permeability. But the situation is different, because without permeability to air, the professionals breathe from around the mask without filtration. We must take care, because the fake feeling of security is very bad for people. So I think that we have solutions for different cases. Maybe it's not simple today to have the adequate grade for social masks to are, for instance, with normal textile materials like knitted materials or woven materials and so on. It's not easy. It is possible. We have some cases here, certificated now, but I think that it is compulsory to have standards, to have limits for filtration and breathability at minimum for these materials in order to ensure an adequate protection. the situation we are living now in Europe, even in Portugal, is very dangerous because people is trying, is looking to the internet, to the YouTube and so on, and they are making everything with some solutions we tested here. And these solutions are very, very dangerous. It is possible to chase an elephant with a gun, but with a plastic gun, it's not possible.
I agree, but zero is worse. I'm only speaking of zero protection.
We should not engage in discussion. I think that we understand both of your reasons, and it's right. I think that we understand everyone. Thank you.
A solution to that is the clear communication strategy. A clear communication strategy
And
from all the levels to inform the population what can protect and not, what they can use and not, and just make the differentiation, because population is talking all the time about masks, but masks in general. So I think that it's really, really important. I don't know how to do it, but a good communication strategy.
and also regulation.
For sure.
And also regulation, because I completely agree that this false feeling of protection could be a huge issue, because the social distance will be different, and then we will have a big problem at the end. So we need to at least to provide these recycle or reusable or so on and so forth masks, but with all the requirements for protect people against the virus and protect contamination.
I will confess my ignorance on really, even now, after so many sessions, I am ignorant. But Marco, is there any possibility to make one regulation at the European level that will be available for all the countries automatically? Very fast regulation?
Concerning her, it's a very difficult question because we are entering the political dimension to which I do not belong. So I would say from a technical perspective, what we have done so far is to, let's say, ensure a flexibility to the existing tools. I would like to say it's also important to understand the structure and the functioning of the European Union. For example, what we establish in our pieces of legislation are essential requirements. Then they can be conceived as neutral concepts to which then can be attached technical solutions usually developed through European standards in order to ensure the compliance. Okay? So in that case, for example, European standards play a very important role. Even now, for example, it was interesting to me to see other kind of solution, alternatives to, for example, medical masks. And I had a question to myself. They can be effective. Are there tests or test methods able to assess the efficiency and the protection of this mask, for example? Because some standards maybe can be focused mainly on specific types of product, and specific testing methods could not allow, for example, to measure other types of products, you know? So what is important is mainly to, for example, ensure, from my perspective, and this is just a brainstorming, to see if the existing tool in order to ensure the compliance are, let's say, sufficient, or there are other needs, or there are, let's say, there is the necessity to develop other testing tools. Concerning the regulation there, I would say it's a very difficult question to reply because, as I said, essential requirements are already established, so they need to ensure protection. For medical, there is a certain types of category of risks, and medical masks, for example, they belong to the first category, so self-certification is sufficient. I think that the solution could be found through the, let's say, assessment of this tool, because essential requirements are already there, and I agree with also Dr. Costa said. It's important to ensure health and safety. This is the purpose of this kind of products. What I see is the need to ensure tools to assess alternative solutions if they are needed. That's my perspective.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have passed time, the expected time of closing the session, but I think that if you agree, we could continue for some minutes, because what we are speaking about is really important, and I think that we need some flexibility. If you agree, okay? So more minutes, more minutes, no, more suggestions for solutions.
One message that I think it's necessary to change is that we have to protect the solutions by using math, and that it's true. But I think that when we say that, in our mind is that we need something that protects us from the virus. But the other solution is using the more standard math, the non-open more standard, is just to avoid you to contaminate. If everybody has a mask that allows to expel the virus, at the end it's another way to protect yourself, because nobody's contaminating. It's just to make the comparison, because this is my case. When I just go out for buying something, I see people with the mask if P2, that it's not necessary. This is for medicine, for sanitary people. And I think that, as I mentioned before, the communication strategy is necessary, and use correctly the resources, because if not,
Perfect. Another one, David. I thought that you were going to propose something new.
Yes, I would like to speak about solutions. Well, first, Eloy, about marketplace. It is true that there is one in Catalonia, there is another one in Galicia, but we need like more, like, I don't know if in each region or something central or something huge in Europe. If somebody knows more about marketplaces, please share with me. Try to fix the industrials and manufacturers with the healthy systems. Another solution that our industrials are doing is create new supply chains, because there is not material, as everybody knows. So they are creating a new supply chains to have medical uniforms and so on. And later, another solution that yesterday I was saying to Daniel before, that probably the most part of people from Spain knows, yesterday the government was giving away another new law related with the social mask or hygienic mask, to try to prevent to be sharing the virus everywhere. It is expected that in some months or in some weeks, the government start to say to the people that if they are going to their normal activity, they should use a mask. So it was presenting a new law in Spain related with this social mask to try to cover the gap between the medical mask and to try to protect the more part of people. And this is not based in any material. It is based on test, which is quite interesting. I don't know if the testing that they were choosing were the good ones. It's about respirability and bacterial transmission. And with this test, each material could be used to do this new mask to all the population. And that is it. For me, marketplace, new supply chains, and raw materials are like the three important things, and are the solutions that I have in my mind about all this week's work. So thank you very much to everybody, and if somebody want to contact with me, feel free to contact with me, which means the capillarity with industrials. So whatever you need, I am here for you. Thank you very much.
Yes, Anna from CITEV again.
Sorry again. David, could you write this offer in the ECCP forum? That would be good because everyone will be able to locate you that way in the forum. Okay.
I don't know exactly where is that. If you send to me the link somewhere in the chat, I will
I will put the link in the chat. Okay, for everyone. And my recommendation is to share them there, because this is
okay. Thank you very much.
This will be available for everyone in Europe. Okay, do you have it? Okay, thank you.
Can I just underline something again? And this is not a short-term need, but we need to redesign and rethink about that. So we should look also to the standards and have standards that go from the masks that will protect people from the medical side, but also these social masks and these reusable masks that we are all trying to develop in order to provide them to the society. As well, there is a lack of tests to assess all these categories of masks, and also to assess the ones that have been providing till now. So we in Portugal also face the problem to develop and to find out a way to assess and to test the performance of the masks. And maybe we should, I don't know if the European Commission also could bring some actions and what relate to that. But we should, for instance, create a group to develop and to try to find out ways to assess and to test the performance of all the categories of the masks.
Thank you.
A solution of that, Hannah, can be the permission of making tests to all the laboratories that are not really related to medical sector, but maybe from cleaning sector or industrial. There are a lot of laboratories dedicated to make the analysis of the test or the certification of industrial filters and all the stuff. And the tests are quite similar.
Yes, they are quite similar, but they are not fulfilling the standards so far. No, so we need to revise those in order to increase the offer in what regards to assessment. Yes.
But the point is, the standards are different, but the equipment necessary to make the test are the same. I mean, these laboratories can just temporarily work for this kind of application. Just making aware that the limits or the standards that need to apply are not those that are usually work with, are the new ones, but the equipment and the material that they need to do with the test, they have it.
Who should allow them to do that? The European Commission, the national organizations, or who should do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Sorry. Please.
No, that was the question. The equipments, we have the equipments and the techniques to make these measurements, but we don't know exactly what levels of protections or bacterial efficiency, if we are talking about the standard for medical devices or for the standard 149 for the protective equipments. We don't know exactly what should be the range of filtration that we should allow for the social masks, for instance. It is true that everybody should wear a mask. There's no other way to help fight the spread of this pandemic. But we don't know exactly. Should we ask for 70% for the filtration for 3 micrometers range, 80%, 90%? What should be the range that we should go for? And that is a problem that has to be harmonized, I think.
Marco. Thank you. Marco.
Yes, no, just to add that concerning the procedure is, for your information, it is the Commission which issues mandates to SEN and other European relevant standardization bodies. But it is also true that these bodies can move alone without waiting any request. But indeed, I mean, I was interested indeed to know, for example, if the test methods established in under these standards, for example, in order to ensure the compliance to essential requirements of the legislation, are sufficient for the different alternative solutions developed. For example, I was in contact with a center which was testing these products made of textile, clearly, and he was saying, you know, in any case, we are testing all kinds of textile products, weaved, knitted, or other types of non-woven, and yet so far, and it was some time ago, yet we didn't. I mean, they don't pass the tests. So the problem is that from my side, and I think this is a principle to keep in mind, it's important to ensure the protection of health, and clearly medical masks can be seen as a sort of minimum requirements in a certain way, but this is just for your consideration to tell me, because, for example, their purpose is not to, let's say, to protect ourselves, but to protect others, because it doesn't allow to, let's say, to like it impedes the it provides the filtration of our breath towards the external environment. So it's important to understand what we are aiming for and what kind of protection we need. Through that, then we can see what kind of available tools we can deliver. Having said that, I think that European standards play, as I said before, play an important role on this. And we need to see if the actual ones are sufficient to that. I mean, what is established there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Comments?
So this is again Carla Silva, just commenting from Marco comments. That is a question. So we know that, for instance, in France, the requirements for the efficiency, they released a recommendation for these social masks to lower the requirements to protect the general public. And we also in Portugal, we are doing a lot of testing, and we know that the conventional textile face masks that everybody can do at home, or that even companies can do, they don't have the same filtration efficiency than these non-woven masks, obviously. But maybe we can lower the requirements, but we need that the government agrees with this. So, and this is something that can be harmonized. So maybe lowering the requirements, we can have a lot of textile-based solutions that then this is materials that exist in Europe and that can easily be produced. So we will have enough masks for everybody, but with different requirements from filtration efficiency.
I just to add, it's important to say there are already a lot of cases at member states level where they started to develop these community masks. Italy is one of them. I would like to stress that we need to understand what is the purpose of the mask and what is the level, as you said, of protection to ensure. Medical devices especially have a specific purpose because these masks need to be used and are conceived for medical operations, so they also need to have a certain degree of protection. Now, it's important to understand also from the technical point of view, from other experts, not clearly you, what is the level of protection needed in the external world or in the normal environment. And there we come back to also what Dr. Costa highlighted, to understand better how the transmission takes place and what is a minimum level of protection in that sense, which can ensure that, and through that to move forward.
I have a question, and I don't know. Well, I know that there is some university in the UK that are making some predictions according to how the virus can be transmitted for different situations, probability studies. Maybe, I don't know if there are or should be interesting to be this kind of studies to make, okay, if we have protection of 70% of the population, how we can block, or how is the probability to get the transmission of the virus in the population and how will look the curve, or we need 80%, or we need 60%. This kind of studies of probabilistic can help to define what is the minimum needed for the population.
Okay, very good.
Antonio, I don't know if you agree with that because you are organizing these meetings, but I feel that session by session, sometimes the needs are repeated in so many different days. That means that two things: they're not solved, and the other thing is new people is coming and does not come to these meetings on a frequent basis and don't know that these same needs have been already spoken about. So I'd stress everyone to at least listen to the saved sound of the meetings, of the previous meetings or whatever, but try to participate. And the second thing is the region that in the beginning of this meeting had 200 masks now has 0 for sure. So we all need to contribute. Who can now send masks to this region?
Okay, we will. I will share the need immediately in the forum. Okay, and the question should be answered through the forum, if you don't mind, because it's true that we are here 16 persons at this moment, but that's very few. Okay, so I will share the need for the request for help then. Okay, there.
Totally agree. It was only a
Yeah, but the question is very clear. And Ilaria is taking notes of all the last session, and I think that you are very right. I know that we don't have time to visualize probably all the previous session. Also, I recommend that. Okay, but perhaps we could work on make a summary of the different needs and solutions that we are sharing through these sessions, because you are right. We need to share this knowledge that we are compiling here, and let everybody have a general view of what we are.
Yes. Yes, Antonio, I absolutely agree with the point of Aurora, and with you. It's really important to capitalize what each morning we are talking and the solutions we achieve. So we for sure can develop a sort of method and summaries that can help each morning to go on.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, Ilaria. I really
Yes.
know that, and please call for help or collaborators if you need them, because I understand it's it's very time consuming. But it's
Above all,
important.
because I think that not only one person can have all the competence, for sure.
So,
it's really difficult to have the technique side all involved.
So you could have we have for internal use, not for public use. We should go to the ECCP forum, but for internal use we have a Slack channel. Everyone of you could be invited there, and perhaps Ilaria, we could use it to build this kind of shared documentation.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other comment? No? Okay. Thank you, everyone. We will share the video of this session as soon as we receive it through the Slack channel, and this in the next message also for everyone involved, and we need to continue taking steps. So please use the forum, because it's the CCP forum is the main space to dialogue about this, and you will be very welcome to suggest new sessions or to work just to take actions, because that's the key point of this by the conference, to allow us to take quick access to take quick actions on place. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ciao.
You're welcome. Ciao.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Have a
Thank
good day.
Thank you. Ciao.